Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming to you with yet another edition of StarCraft2 Legacy of the Void, and for your Sunday series, today we have Serral versus Stats in a best of 7 from the Blizzcon Final 2018. Top right-hand corner on Blue Shift for game number 1, we have the Red Zerg player from Finland. You may know him as Serral. And in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the Blue Protoss player. It is Stats! Oh, Stats! Versus Serral, the best two players on planet Earth right now, according to the BlizzCon bracket. And who am I to argue with the BlizzCon bracket? I am certainly not. Absolutely not me. You're not going to see Falcon Paladin doing that. So welcome to your Sunday, everybody. It's going to be an amazing best of 7. I'm so excited to cast this and bring it to you because it is a wonderful example of everything that StarCraft2 can be. Everything that people who do not like StarCraft should understand what it is. And it's going to be a good time. That's all I can tell you. Blocking the hatchery here. Serral throws down his third just down at the south. Wait, his natural. Wait. His second hatch at his third base location. Just because, you know, he doesn't want to play Ring Around the Rosie with that probe. He just says, I want to get my hatch down. I'm going to take this soon anyway. I'm not worried about it. I'm not getting cannon rushed by Stats here. My Overlord scouting pattern is covering that. No big deal. My slow Overlords will be able to see any early pylons coming up here into my natural base or up here either. So no problem. And yeah, Stats just went for the 1 gate expand. No problem here. Although this probe is moving out and it's a little bit suspicious. The slow Overlord is not able to see it. And is this probe? Yep, just playing the games, playing the harassment games here, taking shots off on those drones, receiving shots in return, not losing any of these shields though. That's the important thing, because the shields will come back, man. Eventually, so there you go, starting to regenerate. No problem. Overlord comes right on in to perch on this high ground to see what's going on. And yes, no big surprise. Gateway, Nexus, Cybernetics Core coming in. And oh, Stats! There's your sneaky pylon. There is your sneaky pylon up north here. So it's going to be something. I'm not sure how soon Serral's going to recognize this is here. He will eventually, I assume, know something is going on. But not anytime soon. He's not scouting that location. His Overlord is not checking stuff. He can't really tell from this location either that there's a pylon coming up in this top section, just because there's one missing from the main, but he hasn't scouted the main. So it's going to be a proxy Stargate here from Stats, likely going to be an Oracle, if not a couple Phoenix early, just to try to catch Serral off his guard. A couple Lings running around, scouting for stuff, trying to see if there's an Adept moving out, and by golly, there is. And you don't want to die, though. You don't want to die to this early Adept. Ooh, the Adept is going to go ahead and shade after this Zergling, though. Be able to kill one of them so they split up. You can't kill both of us. Oh, actually, maybe. Well, maybe she can, actually. These Zerglings, man. Oh, another Adept coming on in. The Ling getting in that vision range just barely, but going to be allowed to come up here anyway. Third base has a Queen defending it. And finally, that natural is being taken by Serral. So we'll call that the natural from now on. Queen getting some early shots off. Those early shots are important on those Adepts. The earlier the shots are, the better it is. And that is an Oracle. This Oracle's name is Starscream. Once the flight leader of the Decepticon battle fleet, Starscream betrayed Megatron once again by trying to take over leadership after Megatron smacked his ankle into a coffee table. Finally coming to his senses, Megatron destroyed Starscream's body. However, Starscream, mutant and immortal, Spark traveled across space and time, ending up in a Waspinator, a robot 12-year-old girl. And now finally the AI core of a Protoss Oracle, as the Adepts try to get some stuff done. Actually, Oracle doing pretty well for itself here. Already has 1 kill, already has 2 kills. There's no Spore here. The Proxy doing some serious damage. 6 kills. 6 kills is the most we've seen on an Oracle in a long time. Zergling counterattack coming up, though. Oh, snap, they got through. Ooh, are there enough Adepts here to do this thing? One of the Adepts is going to die for sure. The other Adept getting surrounded, and she's going to take some stuff with her, but yikes. And actually walling off the front, so additional Lings can't get in. Nice play there by Stats. Probes coming up to try to handle this, and they're going to be able to clear out these Zerglings, no problem. Damage is being done to this pylon, though. This poor probe stuck outside is going to die. Zerglings hammering on this weakened pylon. Ling attacks coming all over the place. Double Oracle going to come in and try to defend against this. They should be able to clean this thing up eventually, but in the meantime, there are Speedlings loose inside your base, which is a horrible experience. Well, the recall. Oh, recall the Oracles back home to defend against this. What an amazing play out of Stats. And yeah, the Lings are going to die eventually, but if they run around long enough, also more Lings at the front. What are you doing, Serral? He's down 43 to 35 workers. He's got this pylon down. He killed the other one too, but now there's an Adept. Now there's another pylon wall. The Lings are just kind of wasting their time. Still Zerglings inside the main base. Oracles are forced to use their energy against them in ways I don't think they really want to be, but you kind of have to. Otherwise, you start losing probes. There's another one down. There's another one down. Oh, almost. How many kills do you have? 7 kills on Starscream here. I guess we should finish up that Oracle name. While Starscream is in the Oracle, he can't override the Protoss' orders, and for once in his life may actually remain loyal for more than 5 minutes. Good old Starscream. Phoenix out to kill this. Overlord comes in and does see the Twilight Council researching here. It's going to be a Zealot charge, which not a really standard opening here for PvZ. Usually it's going to be Blink. In most situations, the Lings do find the proxy Stargate. That Oracle showed up early, says Serral. I didn't even have a spawning or a spore crawler built yet. Oracle's still just absolutely roasting down these drones. Holy crikeys. How many workers killed? 7. Only 7 so far. Not a huge deal. Actually, let's take a vote real quick. Would you prefer the production tab to be up there or be down here? I kind of see the benefits in both. So let me know in the comments what you think about that since we're early on in here. And let's get back into the game. Archon's coming in. Zergling sees it. Sees the Archons morphing in. He's got Roaches in production. He's got Queens in production. It's going to be Charge Lot and Archon, the tech of choice here for stats to try to kill Serral early. It's 57 to 46 workers. Serral has been droning up while those Lings were putting on that pressure that whole time. Oracle's going to assist with additional DPS as necessary here. This is actually pretty good attack here. Archons doing good against everything, honestly, on the ground. The Roaches are the biggest threat to them, though. There's a huge warping of Zealots here. This would just straight up kill me as a Zerg. I'd be dead right now. But this is Serral we're talking about, lifting up the Queen. Nice target firing there. The Zealots getting right on top of the Roaches and the Queens, but I think there are too many Roaches, and I think there are too many Queens here as well. The Queen stabbing off, getting extra damage against the Warp Prism. Both of the Oracles have now died, and that got held exceptionally well. There were just too many Roaches. Too many Roaches for the Zealots to handle, which is not something you would often say, but definitely true in this case. Third base landing getting harassed a little bit here. Archons trying to get some damage done, but the Roach count is just too stinking high. There are 21 Roaches on the field against an Immortal, 2 Archons, and 2 Zealots with a couple of Adepts. Yeah, if there was a straight-up battle with those units, you'd just be dead, which is what these Roaches are heading on over to stat side of the map for. Roaches, trying to pick up the Archons, can't quite kill them. Fourth base on the way from Serral now at the 7.5 minute mark. Roaches showing up at the front door. There are sentries and an Immortal here. I really don't see this happening. Although killing some Zealots, I mean, if they want to sacrifice themselves to this Roach group, they can absolutely do that. They're trying to focus on some of these sentries before they die. They know they're dead. They're going to try to kill these expensive, ooh, there we go, force field producing units. All the Roaches are going to be killed, but killing those sentries was a fantastic play. Just a wonderful play by him. Nicely done by Serral with that target fire. 68 to 55 workers. Fourth base is about 50% complete for Serral. And it's going to be Swarm Host out of Serral here. Production tab says Swarm Host Infestation Pit is complete. Any upgrades on anybody yet? Glial Reconstitution and Speed is done. And then Warp Gate and Charge for stats. So not much of anything else going on here. Warp Prism is alive. Got a couple Archons. They took that Zelnaga Watchtower and then left it alone again. Roach is just running around trying to see what damage that they can possibly get done here. And they're going to go ahead and knock down these rocks to give themselves additional attack path into this third base location. And yeah, Serral's fourth base is coming up without really any problem whatsoever here. Creep spread doing fairly well. It's getting closer. It's getting closer to stats base here. I don't think many tumors have died, if any at all. Actually, is there detection on the field right now? The answer is no. No observers on the field at all for stats. He skipped that entirely, which you can afford to do against Zerg for the most part. Roach is running in to this third base of stats. Going to go ahead and take out a couple shield batteries if possible, but too much army. Let's kill probes. Let's kill as many probes as we can. Yeah, man. The Roaches are trying to get some damage done. They're not even really particularly being microed right there. Maybe they almost got that Archon. Just about almost got that Archon. Here come the Swarm Hosts, though, as Ride of the Valkyries plays in the background. It's going to be dropping on top of what? Zealots? Zealots are a really good target for Swarm Hosts. They just eat them alive. Corrosive Biles landing on top of those sentries, doing some damage, but that's too many Immortal for this Roach Ravager composition. A little bit too Roach heavy. More Locusts trying to drop on in, trying to target fire down those sentries. They get one there. Another sentry at the front is a little bit exposed here, continuing to push on in. Now is Stats. He is the aggressor in the situation. The further back you can push the Locusts, the Swarm host, the better off you are. So fantastic job there by Stats. He's got Storm coming in. He has more Immortals being made. A Baneling Nest getting started by Serral right now and working on +1 missile attack for his Roaches, Ravagers, and his Swarm host. Just a little bit of a Roach Ravager push. The sentry count is very low, and now it's 0 in this army. Now there's an Observer out too. Nice War Prism Micro, keeping that Immortal alive. The Immortals on the back end are in so much trouble, but there's a Shield Battery here. It's quickly out of energy. Quickly expended. Corrosive Piles actually, I think, might have taken down one of those Immortals there, but no, I think it got picked up and saved instead. But now here come the Locusts. The Locusts combined with the Roaches and the Ravagers are just so dang intimidating. Storming them before they land. Storming his own units a little bit here now too. And yes, does manage to wipe them out. The Locusts really don't get much damage done, but I think the damage done there was the fact that Stats was forced to storm his own units. Queen's joining the party, a little bit overeager, a little bit overzealous there, getting kind of picked off. Transfuses getting thrown down on each other and on these Ravagers. Creep spread continuing to push out. Fourth base is done for Serral happily. 66 to 60 workers. And a fourth base warping in by Stats up in the north section here, though. So far, Stats has done exceptionally well, holding off this aggression with the Locusts, the Roaches, and the Ravagers. It's not a huge, intimidating army for Serral, but the constant wave of Locusts can really wear you down unless you push back like this. I really like what Stats is doing. Pushing back against the oncoming onslaught, picking off some creep tumors, and then when it just gets to be too much, the angle is bad, he just pulls back, uses the warp. Oh, I was going to say, uses the War Prism to save Immortals. One gets picked off. Another one gets picked off there, though. This is looking really bad. So suddenly, Serral is maxed out, and Stats is 112 supply. Look at the supply, as Todd would say. Locust rolling in. Roach Ravager holding their own a little bit there. Nice Storm. Weakening the Locust. Wow. Wiping out the Locust, but still a whole bunch more remaining. Another Archon ends up falling. Storming right on top of these Roaches. Immortals picking up, backing up. The Warp Prism is trying to keep them alive as best as they can. And nice warping of Zealots on the top side. There's only a handful of Roaches and Ravagers remaining here. And once again, Stats manages to hold. Roaches up here trying to take down the fourth base of Stats before it even really gets going. Locusts are still sitting on a few more seconds remaining on that cooldown. Another Immortal gets picked off. What incredible micro on display here by Serral, but it's just too much. It's too much Zerg right now. He's got 23 Roaches, 16 Swarm Hosts, 5 Ravagers, and 65 drones. Locusts coming on in. Oh, they can catch these. The High Templar don't have the energy for Storm. Oh, they don't have the energy for Storm. That's why Stats is retreating so much right now. He knows. Gets a surround on the Immortals. The Immortals are almost all dead. There's only 2 remaining. One is just now unmade. Another one does get picked up and destroyed there by the Roaches and Ravagers. The attack at the front is just a little bit too intense here for Stats. I don't know how he holds this. He's going to lose the Cybernetics Core. He's going to lose a Pylon. He's going to lose a Warp Gate here. Zell is trying to warp in. Storm's trying to kill the units. Serral not even really microing against them right now. He knows he has more where that came from, and Serral ends up getting the victory here in game number 1. What a game number 1. If we're going to be in for this level of StarCraft for all the remaining games of this series, I'm ridiculously excited. I can't tell you how excited I am to cast more ZVP between these two players. I mean, Serral never had overwhelming advantage in any single battle, it didn't seem like. He just was able to keep it going, keep enough Roaches and Ravagers to really prevent Stats from pushing out once we got to that mid-game. And then the Locusts didn't do a ton of damage, but baiting out Storms with free units really does pay off in the long run. Fewer Storms for the Roaches and Ravagers later on. I mean, sure, they took a ton of damage from Storms, but it could have been a whole lot worse for those guys. So, resources lost here. Where's my L? There it is. 18,300 for Stats, 9,300 for Serral. Just doubled up. Doubled up the resources lost, and just was more efficient that way. So good job game 1 by Serral. We'll give a 1 next to his name, and we'll be back with game 2. Don't go anywhere. Cerulean Fall, a place where it's always raining, is going to be game number 2 between these two players. Bottom left-hand corner, Serral, the Red Zerg player, and top right-hand corner, we're going to find Stats. All right, Stats, you're down 1 to the Finnish player. You don't want to go down 2-0 versus Serral because he is probably the best Zerg in the world today. All right, Stats, what is your plan? Probe scouting? Yes, probe scouting is very, very important for Protoss, and very important for you as well. If you're either Protoss, Zerg, or Terran, and you're not Grandmaster or Master level, then yes, go ahead and Worker Scout. Falcon Paladin tells you so. All right, so it's going to go ahead and try to block this off and succeed. The drone says, whatever, man, go ahead and block it off. I'll just go ahead and throw up my first hatchery at the third base location, just like I did in game number 1, and I still won. You're not going to throw me off my groove. Not at all, man. APM 235 here, up to 300 for Serral in this early game, about 200 or so for stats. Protoss just doesn't really need all that much APM, and honestly, nobody needs that much APM in the early stages of the game here. Players are just warming up, man. They're just getting their fingers ready for the mid to late game when they do need that much APM to do everything they're trying to do. And some players have said it's hard for them. It's hard for them if they start out slow to ramp up to suddenly needing 200 plus APM when they've been sitting at, 50 for the first couple of minutes here. And honestly, 50 is probably insane for the first couple of minutes. Honestly, what are you doing? You're sitting here, hanging out. Serral's APM sitting at 1600 right now, which is just some insane level spamming there. I have seen some people that bind a certain action to their click wheel on their mouse, and then if you spin it, it does crazy amounts of APM. I believe TLO has been one person to do that. Oh, and TLO, he moved to Toronto, you guys. He moved from Germany to Canada last week. I saw a tweet from him about it and was like, wait, what? And then I saw he wasn't competing in the WESG qualifiers for 2019 for Germany, and I was like, what? And that's why, because he's moving to Toronto. He may compete in the WCSNA scene next year, which is going to be insane. Another great player for the North American scene would be fine by me. We've got Neeb, we've got Scarlet, we've got Special, we've got Puck. We have some really great players, but another great Zerg would not go amiss. I would be fine if TLO is a North American sooner rather than later, so hats off to him. Additionally, I have been organizing the WESG 2018-19 qualifiers for different regions across the world. All the regions, actually. It's been a lot of work. It's also been a lot of fun. So if you tune in to WESG_SC2 on Twitch, you will see regions such as Mexico, regions such as Poland, regions such as Korea coming up this week. So check it out, subscribe. You can see me cast sometimes. Other people like Laughing Games are involved. I've been casting Africa World stuff with him. And other players hailing from Germany like Graben and Maralekos. We've got a couple Americans in there too. Like Brandflakes. Brandflakes is a guy who's a pretty good caster. I enjoyed casting with him in my experience. And anyway, it's been great. The daylight savings change in America last week really threw off the schedule. I had to fix that. That was a pain in the butt. I hate daylight savings. But anyway, nothing much happening here. Just some adept harassment, trying to do some stuff. They get inside the main base and instantly die because there are a million speedlings here. Sorry, adepts. Nice try. Resources lost, 250 for the Protoss, 125 for the Zerg. It is an Oracle on the way. Is it double Oracle? It's going to be double Oracle. Well, this Oracle's name is Navi. Hey, listen. Hey, listen. Hey, listen. Plasma Death Beam. When I say listen, you listen. Yes, Navi, we hear. Zergling's trying to do stuff at the front door, but really walled off well here with an adept. Couple adepts staying at home this time. No early ling pressure today, says Stats. I got it. I got this. Oracle ended up getting a couple kills there at the third base, but there was a Spore and there was a Queen, and nothing much was going to happen. Double Oracle swinging on in. Perhaps they'll get inside the main base and get some damage done. Ooh, what was that canceled? Imagine a Roach Warren based on that placement, but he does go ahead and skip whatever that was. He's just sitting on spawning pool for now. Overlord scouting in. Ah, the Overlord saw interesting things. Meanwhile, Oracle's picking off additional drones. 3 more drones going down. Ah, we lost Navi. Sorry, Navi. Bad times on that one. Sees the double gas. Sees the robotics facility here. So sees 4 gas, a robo facility, and additional warp gates, and says this is a 2-base all-in. This is going to be some incredible pressure here out of Stats. He's got another robotics facility coming up right now. So Serral can't drone too hard here. He doesn't want to get up to 60, 70 drones without any pressure early from Stats because he knows another big pressure ball is coming his way soon. Third base warping in here for Stats, but these additional gateways are going to be used for some serious pressure out of Stats here. Yep, additional adepts pushing on out. They're going to come out, see what they can see. It's just Zerglings, man. It's just Zerglings right now. Roach Warren finally coming in. Stasis Ward, oh, does catch the drones and a Queen. Oh, that's so annoying. The Queen can't inject on this morphing lair. So annoying. Additional Adepts here. War Prism coming up here too. Queens stabbing away at the Adepts. The Adepts do not care about Queen DPS. They do care about Zergling DPS a little bit. Where did they transfer out? They transferred out. I was like, where did they go? Away. They went away. Sentries here to defend. The third base of stats is warping in. We got a Forge on the way. We're producing Immortals out of this robotics facility. The other one not doing anything. And going to be a Twilight Council in here too. So some pretty intense upgrading right now going here from stats. Creep spread pushing out the left side. Creep spread pushing up the right side and up the center. Phoenix killing Overlords has done a pretty good job killing those Overlords and making sure they cannot scout anymore. I'm sorry, Serral, you're going to be in the dark unless you can get speed or an Overseer or something along those lines. Yeah, Phoenix gets another Overlord kill. Queen doesn't even want to bother. She's like, you know what? Don't talk to me. I just came out of stasis. Zergling's running into the third base trying to get something done, but there are Adepts and Sentries here. So that's not going to work out very well for you at all. Are you seriously going in there? Don't do it, man. I think he's trying to bait some force fields out of those Sentries just so they can't have more force fields later on. Seems like a solid strategy. Double pumping these Immortal here, getting charge again. So it looks like it is going to be another Immortal Archon Warp Prism style play here. We'll see if we can get more damage done this time. There were just too many Roaches out last time to really do much of anything against Serral here. Again, Roaches defending against this little Adept drop. It's kind of cute out of stats, but not really doing much at all. Whoa, he canceled that Extractor just as it was done. That was probably a mistake because he just restarted it. Ow, man, even the best Zerg in the world messes up sometimes, you guys. That is the lesson of StarCraft. Even the best players on Earth screw this up. It's so hard. It is so hard to play. It is so hard to get to this level. And even then, you're going to mess stuff up. Brood War is known as the game where the player who makes the fewest mistakes win, not necessarily the player who plays the best, if you can understand that difference. Overseer flying into the main base, sees additional warp gates, sees the single Stargate, sees no transition into any kind of a Sky Toss style play, so it's a good scout. If he comes over here, he's going to see largely what he dealt with in the last game. Double pumping Immortals, working on charge, probably getting some Archons and some Storm. Here comes a push of some Sentries and Adepts and Immortals. But again, if you just have enough Roach Ravager, you can handle this. Here we go. Roaches have been revealed. Revelation endures through Ravager transformation, doesn't it? As Zerglings running around on there, all super dead. And yeah, look at that. It sticks right with them. That little pink triangle thing, the little Triforce on their heads. I mean, it's not a Triforce if you look at it closely, but it kind of looks like the Triforce from a distance. A tiny bit. It does. It does. It's a triangle made up of other triangles. That's a Triforce thing. Oracle here. I don't believe that's Navi. I think Navi died, but that's Navi's friend who just threw down another Revelation. Really important to do this, Protoss players. Throwing down Revelation on your opponent's army consistently is great. Ooh, Drop Lords out of Serral. What are we going to do with these Drop Lords, Serral? What do you have in mind? You sneaky Zerg. Yep, Storm's on the way, plus 2 attack coming in for stats for his ground army, plus 2 missile attack as well for Serral. Oh, good force field, man, and just a bunch of Roaches and Ravagers die for nothing there. No 4th base, though. That getting shut down quite nicely. And while you're worried about that, we're going to go ahead and drop... Well, maybe we're going to drop in. I mean, there's Drop Lords here, but there's nothing really to fill... There we go. These units are going to fill them. Not entirely, though, right? This is a lot of Drop Lord. And yeah, not all of them get filled. I guess some of them are sacrificial. Some of them are just going to be in the front to take shots if there's somebody here to shoot them. And there's definitely not. So we're going to land right on here. Try to kill these, you know, this Warp Gate, these Pylons. Responding quite well is stats, and I mean, that's it. You just depower them and head out. This is a very Terran-style strategy out of Serral. Pick up, drop, lift up, get out. You can't boost out because you don't have a boost, but getting out is just fine too. More force fields, catching additional Ravagers here. And so far, so good. Serral's lost a lot of units, 3,400 to 1,300 so far. 4th base still not happening for stats, but he doesn't care. 4th base done for Serral, and all is as it should be. More drop play here from Serral. He's got the Zerglings. What upgrades? No upgrades for the Lings, man. It's just attack upgrades for the Hiders and the Roaches and the Ravagers. He doesn't have any Lurkers, and it doesn't look like he's going to go for it. Oh, never mind. That's a Lurker Den. Lurker Den is on the way. Infestation Pit coming in here, too. This double Adept harassment. 5 kills and 6 kills on these guys. That's been pretty good. They've been pretty great. Adepts coming on here to the natural base where they will die to these Hiders and these Queens. Dropping in the main Roach Hydra, goodbye Stalker defense. You are not going to be enough. You need Immortals, you need Storm, you need something to deal with. The Stalkers are a horrible choice. Pushing them down the middle, though, is Stats. Nice Storm on these units. Serral getting away. Yeah, the Stalkers are trying to do what they can, but they are severely outmatched by the Hydralisks and by the Roaches. Artosis Pylon depowers for the Warp Gate. Still marching in, though, is Stats. Can he take down the Queens? End up going down. Can he get this 4th base? I don't know. Finally, Defensive Storm shows up, and this drop of Serral, I think, is over. I really don't see it doing much else here. There are still a handful of Hydras remaining, but their DPS is not that great. The hatchery ends up falling. Long-distance mining drones are getting killed here too. Reinforcing units wandering on in from the Hydras and the Roaches and Ravagers along the right side. More drones getting picked off. 10, 12, 14 drones, focusing them down immediately here. Additional Hydras coming in. Drones being pulled off the line to deal with this. Still Hydras and Roaches causing problems. Oh, another Artosis Pylon goes down, killing additional Warp Gates here. More Hydras and Ravagers just holding on by the skin of his teeth here is Serral, and Stats taps out. What? Holy what? All right, so let's take a look. Yes, you killed this base. The 5th base by Serral is up and running. Unfortunately, it is 51 to 40 workers, though. You're still on 3 base. He can't stop this. The drop one in the game. I cannot believe this drop is still alive. What do you got? 12 kills. 1 kill, boo. 3 kills and 6 kills. These Hydralisks, man, they are assassins. He didn't have the units to defend that main base. He's going to lose all these probes. He lost a ton of production already. His active Warp Gate count is currently 2. He has 2 active Warp Gates. Here's one, and here's the other one. Yeah, so even if he has the income, even if he has the ability to make units, he doesn't have the other ability, which is the buildings, to make units. So, wow. Serral just barely able to cling and claw his way back there, popping out Hydras at the last second, popping out Lings at the last second. These guys are all injured. They've all taken damage, but it was enough. It was just barely enough there, and Serral takes the early 2-0 lead against Stats. Protoss fans everywhere are just, it hurts. It hurts to be down 2-0, but it's not a best of 5, it's a best of 7. And best of 7s are different, man. I've seen players come back from down 2-0 in a best of 7 and win. So we'll see how Stats can do here, and we'll be back with more StarCraft 2 action in just a second. Dreamcatcher, a place where dreams are caught. I believe Dreamcatcher will be removed from the map pool next time the map pool updates. So those of you who like Dreamcatcher, it will still be there, but you have to play it in custom games. Bottom right-hand corner, the red Zerg player, Serral, up 2-0. And in the top left-hand corner, the blue Protoss player, whose name is Stats. Stats has been scary, man. He's been a scary, scary Protoss. To make it to the final of Blizzcon requires you to be abjectly terrifying with your race, and Stats is no slouch. No slouch at that either. All right, man. It's going to be Serral. It's going to be a map that really favors things like Broodlords and Swarm Hosts and tanks, as you have these berms up in different locations, really outside of major expansions, outside of potential 3rd bases for both spawn locations on this 2-player map. You set up tanks here, you can hit stuff that's important, you can throw locusts over the wall and get stuff done without really having the Swarm Host threatened. Broodlords can set up here, same story. So we'll see if any of that happens. It's not great for Protoss, is the problem. I guess Tempests can kind of sit back here and shell stuff, but they don't have the pure DPS that both tanks and Storm Hosts do, and so it's a bad time. I don't think, did the probe? Yeah, man, another attempt. Another attempt at blocking the natural, and the 3rd base comes up first for Serral. He's really not worried about this. He's completely unconcerned about having to throw his hatchery up here. I would be like, stupid Protoss, I'm going to Baneling bust you now, which is not a great idea, especially if a Protoss is prepared for it like somebody like Stats would be. That's why you don't see Baneling busts really at this high level. And it's because a Protoss who sees them coming just makes a couple sentries, gets a cannon back here, throws up some force fields, and the Zerg is locked out forever. I've been there. It's fairly rage-inducing, but it's fair. If a Protoss scouts what you're doing and prepares for it and shuts it down, I really can't complain too much about that. Anyway, what else is going on in the world? I have a podcast. You guys aware of the Falcon Paladin Hour? Ooh, there's a BlizzCon episode coming soon, possibly today or yesterday. Either way, check it out. Just search Falcon Paladin on your podcast app. It's with me, it's with Somicron, an Australian. We get along, we argue about stuff. Oh, here's why you listen to this one. We made a bet. We made a bet on the Blizzcon StarCraft2 tournament before it started, and somebody won that bet, and somebody lost that bet, and there is punishment involved. So look for the Blizzcon podcast episode of the Falcon Paladin Hour. You'll not regret it, I promise. All right, so Ling's here. More Adept harassment coming on in. Are we opening Stargate? By golly, look at the Stargate. Surprise! A surprise, it's the Stargate out of the Protoss player. I've heard the arguments that Protoss have to open up Stargate, otherwise Ling pressure will destroy them. You need the oracles for defense in certain situations. If you don't have it, it's just difficult to deal with Ling floods. I mean, Photon Overcharge used to do the trick. It's gone now. And as a result, Stargate openings, I believe is how that works. I'm not sure what they're going to do to try to balance that. I don't know. I really hate that to have any race locked into any particular opening as one drone gets picked off by our adept friend. Yep, one kill to her name. But at the same time, you can't bring back Photon Overcharge. That stuff was horrible. It was not good game mechanics. I really don't think it was. Like the one-click immediate defense type plays, just don't like it at all. So what do? Shield battery's pretty good against Ling floods. Maybe you just, I don't know, maybe you just do that. Maybe just tell Protoss, build shield batteries and cannons, you doof. You can handle it. Oh, it's an Oracle coming in. Is an Oracle after Phoenix as the Scouting Overlord dies early? I think Stats was tired of getting scouted as much as he was in Games 1 and Game 2 by his Overlords. So Phoenix comes out quick, shuts down that scouting. Now we have an Oracle. The Oracle's name is Kal-El. The last son of Krypton, Kal-El was placed into a spaceship by his father, Jor-El, in a desperate attempt to save Kal-El by placing his son in a spaceship before Krypton was destroyed. Was that intentionally redundant? I'm a little lost. About that one. Anyway, Phoenix running around tries to see, is there anything that can stop us here? Just a queen and a spore. We can lift that queen, and the Oracle can get some damage done. Go for it, Kal-El. Kill the evil space bugs. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 would be good. Just gets out. 4 is enough. 4 is ample for Kal-El. Not going to get greedy. Zerglings at the front. A little bit scary, man. Oh, the adapts. Nope, you're not getting home. Sorry, guys. It was nice knowing you. Actually, maybe one will. Nope, they're all dead. Probe. Going to mineral walk back inside. Thank goodness for mineral walking. If you don't know what that is, if you have a worker that is stuck somewhere, there is a unit in their way, like they're getting blocked off by enemy units, or perhaps a friendly unit is walling off. You just click on a mineral patch, and the probe will go right through that unit. No big deal, and the enemies can't do that. It will save a lot of your workers. Baneling Nest here from Serral. Has he made one of those yet? I think he made one in Game 1, but didn't use it all that much. So it's going to be Banelings, it's going to be Lings, it's probably going to be Hydras, if that's where we're going here. Ling, Bling, Hydra. +1 melee attack. Actually, I don't see a lair. And a third base is warping in here for stats. Zerglings just trying to see what they can see, holding map control, checking for proxies, checking for additional warp gates, additional nexuses. They're going to see this one. No, they're not. They are not going to see this one. This is actually completely hidden, but the lack of base here and the lack of base here should tell him there's a third base in that location. We got a Phoenix Cloud here from Stats. He's making another one. Phoenix count is currently 7. Phoenix and 3 Adepts, man. It is not a whole lot. Where is your queens? Where are your queens? Here they are. Queens up to the main base to defend against this. They saw these flying over their Zerglings, and they got the message. Are you going to make any spores? I don't know about this. Yeah, you can lift and kill a couple drones, but that's a lot of queen, man. Queen anti-air is some of the best in the game, especially for the cost associated there, and defending with queens is really, really good. That said, they're a little bit slower than Phoenix, even when they're on creep, and queens are pretty zippy on creep. Spore Crawler hitting that Phoenix. He's got a couple here at the third base. Another one coming up here, too. You do need additional spores if your opponent's going this many Phoenix. Oh, Baneling Bust. Hey, look, remember I said about Baneling Bust not being attempted at this level? It's a Baneling Bust. Nope, canceled. See? Scouted. Scout it. Sentries are here. Stats was waiting for that. He's like, please try to Baneling Bust me. Please, but no, it didn't happen. Did not happen. Phoenix trying to get some damage done, picking off a couple more drones, but again, just more being annoying more than anything else. It's a Hydralisk Den on the way from Serral. He'll be able to deal with those Phoenix, no problem. Eventually, Zerglings trying to catch a couple transferring probes. They get them, and Oracle, brah, Kal-El, zipping them to death as well. 6 kills on that Oracle. Phoenix swinging back around to the third base, picking up the drones on the gas and killing them. 3 more drones go down. And I don't know, is this a trap location? Are you, can you get out of here? Yes, if there were hiders over here, it'd be a different story. More drones getting picked off. Staying out of range of the Spore Crawler pretty well. Are these Phoenix? Man, resources lost. 1428 for the Zerg. 725 for the Protoss. Stats here. Lifting and killing more of these drones. 11, 12. The losses are mounting up, and Zerglings can't get any pressure here at the third base. Not with Zealots and Adepts and Sentries and an Oracle. Definitely not. Fourth base goes down for Serral, because what else can he do right now? He can't counterattack. Not with Zerglings. He can do it with Hydras, but they need the speed upgrade first. They're really terrible at pushing until they have that Muscular Augments upgrade, which is still in production. Baneling's speed is done. Centrifugal Hooks, Baneling's speed gives them additional 5 HP too. That's complete, making them better. But I don't know about this. This is a lot of dead workers, man. 24 workers killed by Stats in this game so far. What a crazy number from him. The Phoenix opening has worked exceptionally well. Zerglings can't get up. There's Immortals holding that wall. And sure, maybe you can surround and kill a couple of them, but you don't have enough Lings to really do this. Once again, Sentries are here. Zealots are here. The pressure by the Lings has been non-existent. Infestation Pit on the way from Serral. They could see Swarm Host again, though. That would be interesting. Like I said, Swarm Host on this map is pretty good. You can threaten this, right? You launch the Locusts from here, fly over, kill stuff. And your Swarm Hosts are here. You have to walk all the way around to kill them. It's really annoying. More Phoenix kills, man. These drones, bad places. But guess what the worker count is? 76 to 67. Serral's fine. He's fine economically, but all of that larva and all of that resource is going to worker replacement instead of to army, which is what you want it to go to as a Zerg player. Trust me, as a Zerg, you want an army. If you don't have an army and this shows up, you die. Pro tip from Falcon Paladin. Have an army when your enemy attacks you. And for Zerg, that's difficult because you want to have just enough army for when your enemy attacks you, you can defend it. If you have too much army, it's actually bad for you economically. And if you have too little, then you die. The balance is weird with Zerg. All right, Baneling's coming up. Gonna try to attack into this third base. Good stasis wards. Ooh, is there an Overseer here? Definitely not. This stasis ward is going to catch a bunch of Hydras. Ready? Ho-ho-ho! That shuts down this Hydra attack pretty effectively. One Baneling comes in to scout. Oh, triggers. Actually triggers a stasis. Zergling's trying to roll into the fourth base. Nope. On the ball there is Stats. Baneling's trying to kill, I guess, some of these cannons, but not really. One of them goes down. Storm chasing the Hydras back. Warp Prism coming in. Zerglings see that. Fifth base on the way here from Serral. Can he save it from the incoming Zealot attack? This has got to be a Zealot warp in. Hold on. Stats did not see the fifth base. He didn't see the fifth. All right. Well, he's close. He's close to seeing the fifth. The Hydras come out of stasis and they're like, all right, ready to go back in. Oh, no, how does he know about this? Or is he going to load these in and go, he's going to load those in, go over here and warp some more in. Here we go, Locust, here we go. Hey, dropping right on top of these Hydras. Trying to pick off the High Templar is a target. Zealot's going down here too. Hydras pushing in with the Banelings. And he's defending very well. Here is Stats. Oh, shield batteries going down. Banelings getting target fired and retreating here. There's a lot of Immortal. There's a lot of Adept. And hey, look at the Zealots are trying to go after this fifth base. But Zerglings take those suckers down quite nicely. They've got +2 attack. By golly, they do. Man, Zerglings with +2 attack are so much better than Zerglings with no attack. That is another pro tip from Falcon Paladin, especially against Protoss. It just feels like having +2 Zerglings is really, really great. Armor upgrade is pretty good too, especially against Zealots who have the attack upgrade, but I guess that's what Banelings are mostly for. Swarm Host's going to launch another attack here on the fourth base of Stats, really keeping the pressure up on the Protoss player. Banelings thought about rolling in, then they got revealed, and they said, I guess we're rolling in. Storm, Immortals absorbing those shots, Banelings getting in, killing a couple, 4 probes. Locust going to roll in, trying to get those High Templar. One High Templar does die immediately. Archon trying to come in. Nope. No Archon there. Hydras from the back picking off those cannons very, very nicely. Banelings getting 10 probe kills overall. Storm's chasing these Hydras and these Banelings away. And so far, so good from Stats. He hasn't lost a base. Sure, he lost a few probes, but otherwise he's okay. This Warp Prism is doing nothing for him, though. 0 things for him at this stage of the game. Losses now a little bit even. 8,000 for Serral, 7,700 for Stats thus far. Serral pulling ahead in a couple of really good engagements. Again, Locusts are free. They are the free unit. All right, Zerglings on top of these Immortals. Oh, huge surround. The Immortals are going to die. Ah! Oh, the Immortals to go down. There's a storm, but isn't enough, and that's it. A good game out of Stats, and Serral takes the 3-game to 0 lead against the best Protoss on planet Earth. Serral, you monster. You absolute monster. I cannot believe he's doing this. This effectively... Oh, huge bailing attack into the 4th base. Okay, alright. Ow. Ow. And there's the... Hang on. I said hang on. So there's this. And there's this. And all the Immortals are dead, and it's 196 to 113 supply, and Todd is sad on behalf of all Protoss everywhere. And yeah, it's 79 to 49 workers. He's gonna lose this base. The Hydras and Mailings are here, and there's literally nothing to defend it except for a cannon, and these Locusts are like, cannon, nom, 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 nom. And his army's over in this location, and all the workers, look at this dead probe graveyard over at the 4th base. Serral, man, killing it for Zergs everywhere, and he's 1 game away. He's 1 game away from being the best Zerg on planet Earth, the best player on planet Earth. He even had the Broodlord follow-up. How does he... The Secrets of Serral, man. He's got to write a book someday. Okay, this could be it for Stats. It could be it. Okay, seriously, though, what is Stats' mindset right now? You're down 3 to 0. You've made it all the way to the grand final of Blizzcon 2018, a place you've dreamed of playing ever since you were there a couple of years ago, and you're down 3 to 0. What do you do? What do you do against Stats? All in him? Try to play till the late game? None of these games have gotten to Broodlords or Tempests or Motherships yet. And what is the mindset of Serral here on Acid Plant? You're up 3 to 0. If I was him, I'd just be thinking, don't mess it up, don't mess it up, don't mess it up, don't mess it up. Alright, so Zerg's in the bottom right, Protoss on the top left here on Acid Plant, a very, very standard map. Just don't get caught in here, either Protoss or Zerg, this little dip before the 3rd base location, depending on the expansion pattern. Oh, Serral got his hatch up. You're at 17 supply without any resistance from a probe. He's like, all right, this is suspicious. Gateway coming up, not suspicious. And if there's not a nexus here in a little bit, I'm going to be suspicious. All right, probe, what are you up to, man? Do you have sneaky things on your mind? What are you doing? What you doing? Sees the expansion, no big deal. Sees the extractor, sees the pool, nothing too crazy whatsoever. If you're enjoying these casts from Falcon Paladin, feel free to check me out as the Nexus does go down on Patreon at patreon.com/Falcon Paladin. Hey, I need a new idea for the $5 a month patron level because it used to be a Q&A, but I ran out of questions. I just ask for questions and people are like, I don't know, you're very forthcoming with your life, Falcon. Well, we follow you on Twitter, we follow you on Facebook at Falcon Paladin, you post stuff out there, you talk about stuff on your cast all the time, you do Twitch streams. Oh yeah, twitch.tv/Falcon Paladin too. Warcraft 2 play right now, which is a ton of fun. I will be playing the Warcraft 3 Reforged stuff when that comes out, whenever that is. But anyway, so $5 reward suggestion. What have been some other $5 rewards that other people have done on Patreon that you have just been so impressed with? I'd like to know. I'm thinking about doing stickers, maybe? Would you be interested in like getting a monthly sticker at the $5 level, like Falcon Paladin logos and stuff like Because Why Not, and other Falcon Paladin isms like Spore Colony? We could do that. I'm not sure how long we can come up with new content every month, but let me know. All right, Stargate opening. Surprise! Out of stats. If at first you don't succeed, continue opening Stargate, because, I mean, if this doesn't say Protoss has to open Stargate against Zerg, I don't know what else does. Why else would you do something that hasn't necessarily led to wins? Unless you have to, right? I just feel like that's because you have to type situation. All right, where are we? Stuff going on. Zerglings knocking down the unbuildable plates. Just some misclicks that don't happen later on. 3rd base coming up for Serral, sub 3 minutes. And yeah, not much else happening. Phoenix on the way. Not going to be an Oracle. We have an Oracle name ready to go. Also, I mean, if you want to submit an Oracle name, you just do so in the comments here on these videos. I gather them all up. I use them. I feel like some people never see it get used, never see their suggestion get used, which is sad. But other people do, and it's a thrilling experience to have a worker or a Oracle name or a Reaper name that you worked on so hard be read on the channel. Phoenix out first to kill the Scouting Overlord, which does, yes, it's a Stargate. Serral says, I know, stats, you crazy person. Oracle on the way. Oracle's name is Eve. The extraterrestrial vegetation evaluator, or Eve, had one simple job: go to Earth to see if the planet could sustain life. However, a deliberate miscalculation by Otto. After a deliberate miscalculation by Otto, she was sent on a long flight out to Earth's solar system into open space. She was picked up by the Protoss and stuffed into an oracle because the Protoss have a bad habit of connecting every single artificial intelligence they find into their oracles. Eve believes she is continuing her mission, unaware that her attempt to scan objects for life is actually using plasma beams to end it. Oh, that's real dark, man. All right, so Phoenix killing another Overlord. Eve swinging on in. We're going to work together to kill what? Oh, I'm not in streamer mode. Sorry, guys. Thought I was in streamer mode. That was not your Discord. That was me. But here we go. Oracle lifting the Queen. Oracle going to get some kills. Once again, Serral not really preparing for this all that much. Not worried about it at all. I mean, how many kills? What? 0 kills? What? How did he do that? So he stacked all of his drones down here, turned one of his drones into a spore crawler, and saved them all. Alright, well, that was interesting. Adepts pushing on out. Not enough lings to handle 4 adepts, unfortunately. Ling count 8. Well, everyone's dead now. So never mind, not even 8. Yeah, usually I cast late at night. It is currently 11:03 where I am, and as a result, Discord is pretty dead. But apparently somebody posted something in one of the 9 Discord servers that I'm in, and that was it. By the way, there is a Falcon Paladin Discord. I know this is a pluggy game, but there are a lot of things you need to know about. There's a link in the description if you want to join. It is a lot of memery, and there's a channel entirely for puns if you're into that. I am not, but I figured I'd give the pun users a safe haven. We can talk about other sports too if you like sports ball. There's discussion, talk about new maps and tactics, and we set up tournaments to play against each other that I participate in. So anyway, check out the Discord. All right, Phoenix trying to fly in. Another Phoenix ball here from Stats here in game number 4. And going to pick up and kill some more of these drones. Queen defense is really nice, though. Really nice amount of queens here. Evolution Chamber done for Serral Zergling. Trying to get into this third base and do something. But look at this placement. This is something you got to learn as Protoss. How to set up a nice defense on your third base to where your whole army is not here, right? But just a few adepts in a place where they can't get surrounded. And you have an oracle to defend as well. And that's all you need. That's it. End of discussion. Don't have to have your whole army present. Obviously, as these Phoenix are continuing to pick up drones and massacre them, the Queens, the range on the Queens is just bonkers, man. That's what it is. The range on Queens is what makes them so good. It is a double Stargate, but I think we're done with those for now. Going into a Forge, going into a Twilight Council, Zergling trying to kill some of these Adepts, but no. We've got Eve back here. Eve doesn't have any kills and is very cranky about that. Because again, remember, kills are scans, is what they are. Scans. So no scans for Eve. She's failing her mission. She needs to scan something fast, or she will have failed her directive. Phoenix flying in. Another Overlord dying. You served your purpose, Overlord. You let us know the Phoenix were coming. Queen count at the third base is not that healthy, but the sport count is better. Oh, they're in wrong position. Queen down. Overlord getting hit, but not pulling back to the safety of that hatchery. Phoenix unhealthy, but alive. And that's kind of what matters here. Good smatterings of oranges and reds down there in that bottom right that shows us the health count. More Immortals in production here for Stats. More Immortals always makes me remember the song My Immortal. There's an Evanescence song, right? Which takes me back, man. That was my wife's high school jam. She used to sing it with her brother as they were driving to school. Anyway, 3 more drones go down, but once again, at 71 to 66 workers, Serral's up, and he doesn't seem to care. This Phoenix Harass doesn't do anything to him. He replaces the drones. He makes more queens, he makes more spores, he keeps doing what he's doing, he makes a bunch of hydras, and then the Phoenix find themselves at a loss. There's nothing for them to do anymore. They're not good in straight up fights, they can't attack buildings. Lift, kill, lift, kill, lift, kill. Again, drones die. How long does it take Serral to replace these? Pretty much no time at all. No time whatsoever. Phoenix scout the 4th base. I think they already knew that was there. Hydras running around. Hydras on creep are really good defensive units because they don't need that speed upgrade to be fast. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Phoenix getting out of there, not going towards where there's an attack. Banelings trying to do something here at the 3rd base, killing 5 probes, but really not all that much. Not that much done. Hydras, oh, are there Hydras in the main too? There are spores. Again, Queen stabbing, more drones. More drones going down. A Phoenix gets picked off there too. Workers killed 13 by Stats, which isn't as many as he killed in the previous game. The previous game was like 25. It's like 24 workers down. Again, Serral was still up. He was not concerned about this in any sense. And that's all there was to it. All right, where are we here? Phoenix flying around, sitting here with the Hydralisks. And yeah, not much happening. Overseer has been sitting here scouting for like 5 minutes. Finally getting destroyed there by the Phoenix. But yeah, gonna see a Templar Archives, gonna see a Forge. Really nothing here is super amazing. Serral going Swarm Host again, you guys. Is this 3 of the 4 games have been Swarm Host out of him? I need to start using Swarm Host in my ZVPs, apparently. He's up 185 to 153 supplies. Got a ton of scary Hydras. Creep spread, pushing on through those rocks, up that other side. The army coming down the left side here. Zealots coming around here too, trying to see, is there a base to kill? No, we're horribly disappointed. There's not a base to kill at all. But 4 base to 4 base is not bad. Stats has a 4th base. These Banelings, what the random Banelings rolling around? I guess, all right, they hit on some Zealots, did some damage there. Zealot warp into the main base. Engagement here. Nope, Stats doesn't want anything to do with it. Zealots coming into the main base and actually going to town on some of these drones. This is what you want, man. More Zealots coming in to the 4th base location. Oh, or rather 3rd base. Locust coming down. They're going to take down Stats 4th base. There's a surround and there's a Sayonara. There is no saving this. Wait, is there saving this? What? Yo! Down to 100 HP. 195 after finishing construction there. Incredible play. Keeping that alive. Baneling drops happening though at the 3rd base for Stats. He doesn't want that at all. See, here's the location you don't want to come into if you're defending it, right? Don't come in there. You'll get force fielded in and murdered for sure. Swarm Host getting caught out of their natural element, which is anywhere, really. Are they going to be forced to pop their Locusts? I don't know, but Baneling drops. Baneling Rain. Banelings exploding at the 4th base. The 3rd base has Banelings. Yeah, the probes! 17 probes go down. The Overlord gets killed in the process. Small group of Hydras. And Banelings trying to do something against these Phoenix. Actually, picking a Phoenix out of the sky is a pretty big deal. If you're these Hydras, everything but one. One of them does end up surviving. Is there really one Phoenix left? There's one Phoenix left, but 17 probes go down. Stats, man. Not a good place to be at all. Queen's defending against further Warp Prism harassment into the main. Here comes Stats. 188 to 162 supply. Can Serral 4-0 this thing? Here we go. Nice storms. Blanketing Hydras from distance, trying to attack these guys, taking storms, the Banelings exploding on Immortals and Archons. Exactly what you don't want to do. If you're Serral here, this 3rd base, or 4th base rather, is in a ton of trouble. A lot of drones going down. Hydras in production. 42 Paniclings on the way. The Locusts trying to roll in and deal with this. More storms, though. More storms than I thought were possible, and that's a good game. Good game out of Serral, and Stats is your winner here. I really wish it kept it here for just a little bit before going to that Stats is your winner thing. These Banelings just do nothing. They don't hit the High Templar, which means the storms are continuing to come in. The Locusts don't even kill a single Archon. Wow. Amazing play. 15,000 resources lost for Serral. 8,900 for Stats. We'll give him a 1. Next to his name. What a play. What a play by him. He was down, man. He was down about 20 workers after that Baneling drop on his 3rd base and said, I gotta go. I have to go and hope the storms are good. And the storms were good. They were really good. Those Immortals, too. We gotta check. I wish there was a way to go back like less than 20 seconds, but that's not something we can do. I just want to see the kill counts on some of these units. So, Protoss fans, enjoy this. It's just a stomping by these units. Alright, so a couple of Immortals do end up dead, but here we go. We're looking at 14 kills. We're looking at 13 kills, 14 kills, and 19 kills on these Immortals. Archon, 5 kills. Archon, 2 kills. Archon, 14 kills. Archon, 10 kills. This is how Protoss works, man. Big, beefy units that just rack up the kills. High Templar in here, too. 6 kills on that guy. And I think we just had a couple of them just start morphing in. 14 kills, 5 kills. I think Do Archons... Okay, when they're morphing in, they take the kills from the High Templar who produced them, right? So if one High Templar has 6 kills and one High Templar has 5 kills, the resulting Archon has 11 kills when they're born. I think that's how that works. Anyway, good job. Good job by Stats. We're not done yet. We are not dead yet. Stick with me and we will see. Can Stats come back from a 3-0 deficit? Is that even possible in StarCraft? I don't know. Let's check it out. All right, Serral. He did some good economic damage to Stats in game number 4, but end up losing because of a counterattack with Storms, Immortals, and Archons. What you going to do in game number 5? Bottom right-hand corner is going to be Serral on this snowy map Fracture, and top left-hand corner is going to be Stats. I love snowy maps so very, very much. But maybe after a couple of months of winter here in Utah, I will not be fond of snow anymore. Ugh. Shoveling the driveway. Nobody's favorite thing. Well, I don't know. Gives me podcast listening time. Doing the dishes, mowing the lawn, shoveling the driveway, taking out the trash cans gives me podcast listening time, which is very, very good time. Ooh, commuting. Commuting as well. My commute is about 30 minutes each way, and I get a lot of good podcast listening in. Basically, I listen to Bill Simmons, who is a sports and entertainment podcaster. Listen to Katie Nolan, who's a sports and entertainment podcaster. Also listen quite a bit to a podcast called The Recapables, where they recap old, really classic, good movies. We're not talking like the 40s and 50s, but more the 80s, late 70s, 90s, early 2000s, that kind of stuff. Just movies that are deemed rewatchable. You can watch them a lot. And they're actually on hiatus until December, which bothers me. There's more movies to do, you guys. I'll record some. I'll record some recapables, rewatchables for you. And more entertainment. So yeah, I'm really into the sports and entertainment style industry. And then I do esports and entertainment. So makes sense. Talk about what you know. Do what you know. All right, Stats, you gotta win. It was by the skin of your teeth. That attack almost got fairly well defended, but man, the Storms were clutch. The positioning on the High Templar were godlike. Can you do it again? Can you force a game 6 here today? I don't know. And you don't either, because I put spoiler screens, anti-spoiler screens at the end of my best of casts. So if you look and say, oh, there's still 30 minutes left, obviously there are more games forced. You don't know. I will put blank stuff with music. If this is a Serral win, I'll do it. I'll make this last another 30 minutes just so you think it goes 7. Haha! Sneaky, sneaky, sneaky me. Can't spoil yourself anyway. I mean, you could click ahead if you wanted and just clicked out and seen, oh, StarCraft is still being played 20 minutes from now. Or you can say, this is just nothing. Clearly, it's anti-spoiler. So you can, if you really want to, spoil yourself, but I do not recommend it. It's better to not know. It just is. All right, so moving on, we have Adepts pushing from Stats. As we've seen in every game so far, Adepts are here for scouting. Adepts are here for harassment. Hold up. Hold the horses. That is a Twilight Council opening. From Stats, it's not opening Stargate. Holy cannoli. Well, that just means, but the Stalker is going to deny the Scout, and that's going to tell Serral something. It's going to tell him, you don't want me to know what's going on inside your base. It's not a Stargate opening anymore. It's even positioned to where the Overlord's going to have a hard time scouting it. That's beautiful stuff. Where'd our Adept go? There she is. She's doing pretty well. I mean, sure, she has 1 kill. And sure, she's going to die. 2 kills is good. But she sacrificed herself for ire. All right. Well, the Overlord. Hold on, Overlord. Get there. Get there. Come on. And there it is. Oh, saw the Twilight Council. Twilight Council opening. All right. Never mind. Serral got everything he needed. Ooh, it's a Dark Shrine and a robotics facility. Are we going to do the Dark Shrine path for Archons? It very seems like a possibility there. Ling's trying to pop in, Adept Stalker pushing them away, third base coming down for Serral, no big deal, or NBD as the kids say. Yeah, it's going to be a War Prism, and with a Dark Shrine, and with additional gas coming in, third and fourth gas being taken out at the 4-minute mark, so we're going to see some Archon play, or just Dark Templar. I would be cool with Dark Templar, to be honest with you. That Dark Shrine has not been scouted. It's really... Ugh. I'm not going to say it's easily scoutable, just... really close to the front door, though, and I'd be worried about that getting scouted by an Overlord, an Overseer, or something. Text to see, is there anything researching on the Twilight Council? No. That tells you it's not going to be Blinkstalker, it's not going to be Charge Lot, it's likely going to be a rush towards High Templar Archon or Dark Templar. What are we warping out here, Stats? What that's gonna be? Ooh, it is Dark Templar. Okay, a Dark Templar warping. Where's your detection? It's a Spore Crawler, but it's not done yet. Overseer immediately coming in right now. Dark Templar killing a ton of Zerglings. If you try to engage with this, it's going to be a bad time. Engaging out here is also bad because your detection is not present. It is buying time for the Overseer to come in. Buying time, buying time, buying time. Don't lose a lot of units to this. Transfusing the Queens, trying to keep them alive. Where's the Overseer? There it is. And now this is pretty much done. Once there's an Overseer, the Dark Templar just have a rough time of it. They all get saved, but they can't really get much damage done after that point. And the Warp Prism picks them up and gets them out of there. Third base warping in for Stats in the snoo. And Overlord says, aha, oh, now you're researching something at the Twilight Council. Okay, so probably not going to be continued Warp Prism, Dark Templar harassment, but Archon play is definitely a thing. But again, enough roaches, enough queens, this pretty much just gets shut down. I really don't see this hurting Serral all that much. Ooh, focusing down the wounded roaches, though. All right, 2 early roaches is a pretty big deal. Queen getting hit. Again, not sacrificing the Archons to get the easy kill. Doing damage as you can, and the priority here is keeping the Archons alive, keeping the Warp Prism alive, too. Ooh, a couple extra shots. I think he hurt his own something there. I think he hit his own extractor with those roaches. Misclick. Misclicked. Another gateway in production is going to be charge lot play. Really, if you have any number of zealots and they don't have charge, they're bad. You need it, is what you need. You need that sort of thing. So third base warping in quite nicely. Got missile attack in production here for Serral. Got Infestation Pit on the way here from Serral too. Are we going to see Swarm Host again? This guy loves his Swarm Host. 3 out of the 4 games so far, he's gone Swarm Host. And that early Infestation Pit, that 6-minute Infestation Pit tells me that's likely what we're going to see here. Again, it's just Roach and Queen. If you're dealing with this as Zerg and you're like, how do I stop Archon harass? It's just Roach and Queen. Just see it when it's coming, have Overlords in position to know where the Warp Prism is at all times, and then just attack. Don't worry about like crazy good micro, just hit the Archons when they come down. Overseer trying to morph in. Will it get killed before? It does. It gets killed before it can morph in. Sentry DPS is sneaky good, you guys. It's actually fairly sneaky good. Zealots in production, it is. It's going to be Swarm Host. Swarm Host from Serral, 8 of them in production right now. Fracture's a pretty good map for Swarm Host. We've seen a lot of Swarm Host usage. You can kind of drop them down here and attack the third base, or drop them up here and attack the third base, or drop them down here and attack the natural base. A lot of places to put these guys, but another attack from Stats is coming in with Zealots, with Immortals, and you really want to be on the offensive if your opponent is going Swarm Host. Because if they launch their Locusts here, you can just walk away. You can take your army and walk away until the Locusts expire. If they attack your base, however, you can't go anywhere, or you're going to lose a Nexus. It is much more difficult, so if your opponent's going Swarm Host, be on the offensive. It's really what you got to do. Army is 90 to 71 in favor of Serral right now, but again, a lot of these are Swarm Host, and let's see how Stats deals with this. I don't think they scouted the Swarm Host. Does he know about this? Does he know about the Infestation Pit? He doesn't. Does he know about... I don't think he knows about the Swarm Host, but he's going to find out soon. Is he? Is he, Falcon? Well, he is now. There they are. Ta-da! Zerglings at the third base. No, getting shut down. Here we go. There's the Locust, and there's Stats going home. Ah, just kidding. He's engaging. He's engaging here. He's losing units a little bit. Roach Ravager going to defend against this. Chasing back, chasing back. Chasing back. The Locust cooldown is a long one. It's 41 seconds. Archon picked off quite nicely there. Corrosive Bile going down. Dodged very nicely by Stats. Both players APM well over 400 at this stage of the game. Stats flirting around with 302. Killing his own Evolution Chamber so that he can get an Extractor here and get that gas that he needs. Additional High Templar coming in. Storm, really the important deal is gonna be Storm for Stats, especially if your opponent has this many Swarm Hosts already with 2 more in production. Serral effectively maxed out at 9 minutes. It's 177 to 148 supply. He really hasn't been bothered all that much. And as a result, you can just max out 1evs. Archon's dropping down on these Swarm Hosts. All right, gonna pick off maybe 1 or 2 of them. Nope, forcing the Locust to come up. And then look, Stats leaving. You'll notice though there are still some Swarm Hosts able to pop additional Locusts. Serral's not sending all of them. Not popping all of them up. It's just a few at a time on the side of the map, and then he'll use them as he can. Ooh, dropping down, target firing something. Not enough life to really do much there. And another round of Locusts coming in where your Storm is at. Enough energy on these High Templar for Storm. And is he going to bother with it here? Not with Archons. Surprisingly enough, not with Archons out. He's not going to bother with it. Crucibile's landing, not killing those sentries. Good force fields on a couple of those Ravagers. A 4th base coming in for Serral at the southern section of the map at the 6 o'clock position. We got 20 more Lings and 3 more drones on the way. It's 57 and 61 Harvesters. Serral really keeping his work account fairly low. Oh, nice Storm. Pre-storming the Locusts, storming the Roaches and Hydras, dealing as he can. Crucibile's landing, getting some decent hits off there too. And kiting back and back and back. These Roaches and Ravagers are trying to buy time for their Locusts to spawn again. Allow the Swarm host to do more work. Crucibile landing, hitting an Immortal, engaging that barrier, and then it wears off is the thing, and then it has to wait for the cooldown to come back again. Zealots here at Serral's 4th base, rather. Trying to do some stuff. And getting chased away by Zerglings. Zerglings don't, I mean, do they have upgrades? I can't imagine they do. Nope. Not in this game. Not where you have a Roach, Ravager, a Swarm host. No room for upgrades for Zerglings, I'm afraid. Popping in here again, just dancing around the edges as the creep right now is Stats. It's 190 to 156 supply. 168 for Stats, though. Warping in an additional group of Zealots. Trying to kill these rocks is Serral. He just wants to be able to get anywhere he can as fast as he can. Mobility is really important to the Zerg. Immortal count a little bit high here. This group just gets massacred. They're kind of separated from the rest of their units. But look at this Roach sneaky attack coming into Stats. Attempt to warp in a 4th base. It's going to get shut down. Zealots coming in here too, though. This is a lot of Zealot. Locust coming down, storming them immediately. Archon absorbing a lot of those shots, and the Locust doing nothing there. Absolutely nothing. Zealots going out to the 4th base of Serral. The 4th base of Stats is getting roached down. This is the engagement. In the middle of the map here, though, coming in with Storm on the Roaches, Storm on the Queens here, too. Storm on the Roaches and Ravagers, forcing them to flee back. Immortals focusing down this 4th hatchery. Roaches trying to get in and take down Stats 3rd. I think they're going to get that one as well. What an insane base, and that's it. Serral taps out. What? He taps out after taking down the 3rd base of Serral. Hold on, we must take a state of the game when Serral tapped out. Stats did it, you guys. He needed to win this to stay alive, and he did. And where's our pause? The hatchery goes down, and that's it. All right, so close enough. Close enough anyway. Can he... Yeah, that cannon's dead. Stats 3rd base is gone. But still, it's effectively 2 base to 2 base. What's his army supply? 48 to 59. A lot of that's in Swarm Host, who are still on cooldown. I mean, what does he have besides the Swarm Host? 24 Roaches, a lot of whom are down here. A lot of whom are over here, getting chased by charge lots, which is not good, which is actually surprisingly super bad. And then these Archons and Immortals just don't really have anything threatening them. 10 kills, 14 kills, 10 kills. 27 kills on that Archon. That's got to be a lot of Locusts, though. 9 kills there. High Templar not getting kills, but weakening units and chasing them away. That's really what they're important for. So, again... Another close by the skin of his teeth win for Stats, man. He is not winning these decisively, but that's 2 in a row now. And really, you just got to think one more game. One more game is all it takes, and you're going to be in the 7th. The 7th game in a best of 7. And can you imagine the reaction here? Can you imagine the reaction here if you end up beating Serral after being down 3-0? Holy smokes. All right. Let's not get to that before it happens. We still need the game number 6. So we will see what happens there. We'll see what map it is. Don't go anywhere. It's going to be Parasite. It's going to be Stats in win or go home mode again for the 3rd game in a row. Woo! Bottom right-hand corner, Stats. Top left-hand corner, Serral. Parasite is kind of a nice map. It's clean. It's got trees. It's got ponds. It's got lily pads floating in these ponds. Is this too big for a pond? No, I don't think it is. Hold on a second. Are these secret Zerg research facilities underwater? Maybe developing an aquatic Zerg. Ooh. Whoa. Man, map makers, hats off to you. Hats off to you guys. Just the detail, just water effects, trees. Are they moving? Are these trees moving? I don't think they are. Do trees gently sway in the wind? They sure do. These ones do anyway. These ones are sway. I'm not sure that the larger ones with the regular leaves are not particularly swaying, but that's all right. Okay, StarCraft is happening. Stats, going Gateway Expand, because what else do you do in the PvZ matchup? He could go for a Haz-style play, but we saw what happened to Haz in Blizzcon when he played up against the world's best. The cheesy stuff, man, it can get shut down, especially if you know it's coming from Haz. He does very well in WCS events a lot of the time, but when it comes to the best of the best, you just can't cheese every game and expect it to work well enough for you to proceed anyway to get to the next round. Once again, Probe Scout's a little bit late here. Serral's able to get his hatch down, no problemo. Extractor coming up. Is he delaying that pool? Oh, no, it's down here. All right, pool coming up in a weird position. But sure, I just feel like I envision a Warp Prism coming here and Zealots wandering over and wiping that out at some point. But whatevs, to each his own. Cybernetics Core coming in for stats. We got ourselves an Assimilator, and this is as standard a 1-gate expand as you will ever see in your entire life. In your entire life. For sure. Whew. Alright. Hope you've really enjoyed the cast you're watching here so far. I've really had a great time casting it. Again, really high-level StarCraft is something I dream of casting live someday. I will be casting some of the Korean qualifiers for WESG, which means I will get some high-level stuff to cast. I also have been casting for Africa about every other week. For Africa World, which is just a little 4-player tournament they hold with players like Creator, like Tasia. I cast Tasia yesterday, you guys. So check it out. Africa World. Subscribe to the Laughin' Games Twitch channel out there. Games with a Z. And I'll be out there more often than not for those world events. Check it out. Check it out. I know it's in Korean. I know the chat's largely Koreans, but we need more of an English-speaking group out there. So tell your friends, come join. I know it's impossible to get you guys to go to a different platform, but seriously, you want to see Falcon Paladin cast high-level stuff, like high-level stuff, Creator, Classic, Sue. I mean, that level of high-level stuff. Africa World, man, that's where it is. All right, Queen stabbing away at this Adept, the Adept Scouts. Hey, there is a spawning pool. It's an, ooh, actually hit the own, stabbed his own spawning pool there a little bit, did Serral. Got Overlord scouting stuff, says there's nothing that can shoot up here. Up Phoenix popping out. Here's is an Oracle. Oracle's name is Diva, the esports defender of humanity. Diva was approached by the Terran Dominion to do propaganda films about Emperor Mengsk. After flatly refusing the offer, Diva was now declared a traitor in a show trial and sent to the Reaper program. She is now streaming her first and likely last Oracle mission. Blah. Actually, that was a Reaper name, wasn't it? Fair enough. We'll call it Diva. It's too late for me to adjust. Adjusting is hard. Zerglings checking to see, is there a third base anywheres over here? No. Are there pylons over here? No. Is there an Oracle coming out? Absolutely. That might have been more what it's about, is checking to see the Oracle timing. Look how crisp that was, man. Oracle shows up. Lings are already there, just barely there. More queens popping out. Already have 3 queens on the board. Already have 4 queens with another one in production. I mean, that queen style, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of the mass queen style. I wish I could do it better. I just always feel like that 150 minerals, I'd rather have 3 drones, but if you want to stay alive, so you can actually use those drones. Queens are where it's at, man. Sport Crawler taking down Diva. Diva has 3 kills. Overlord going to be saved by these queens. Good defense there, queens. Saving your Soul Overlord. Additional extractors popping up here for Serral. He's at 44 to 44 workers right now. And another adept push out here from stats. A good number of adepts today. This time around, he's got 5 of them. What's his further tech going to be? Just going to be Oracle play. Double Stargate here tells you a lot of Oracles. He's had some success with it in the past, although he hasn't gone mass Oracle. And had that, I mean, the success rate has not been all that great, I don't think, with mass, not mass Oracle, but it's a heavy Oracle play. In the early stages, Speed Overlord wants to catch these Phoenix. The Phoenix do not want to be spotted, but they're going to be spotted. Do we think? All right, what does he know about? He knows about 1 Stargate. He doesn't see the second one. All right, Stat says, no time like the present. Let's go murder us some drones. But yeah, Serral saw. He has additional Spore Crawlers coming up in each of his bases now, 2 per at the very least. We'll go for a 3rd one as necessary. Oh, Phoenix, this is not a good place to come in. There are so many queens right here. So many queens. And yeah, the Phoenix sight range is enough they can see what they're dealing with before they get in range, so that's fantastic. Zerglings coming in. And that's a good little force field group here. We've got sentries, we've got adepts. That should be able to handle that number of Zerglings. Trying to kill some... they can't even get an Overlord at all. The Phoenix are having a hard time, man, but they can abuse this high ground, abuse this cliff. And, oh, the 3 spores. The 3-spore triangle, making it so the Phoenix can only really sit here on the periphery and take down drones, which is not what they want to do. They want to kill lots of drones. They want to kill queens. If they are just killing 3 drones at a time, it's not really worth their time. You can't get the damage done to make this worth it, is what this is all about. Again, a couple more drones dying. 1, 2, 3. Okay, couple more. Losing a Phoenix in the process. Not what you want to do. Zergling's trying to see, is there a... There's got to be a base here, right? He knows. He knows. He saw the pylon coming in with that Speedy Lord earlier. Baneling Nest, Hydralisk Den, right here for Serral. Working on it. +1 melee attack. Again, that +2 attack for Banelings allows you to one-shot probes with a Baneling explosion instead of 2-shotting them, which is a fairly large difference. Alright, so 3rd base up here for stats. 4th base probably going to be here for Serral based on this creep spread pattern. Oh, actually here. Fair enough, dude. 12 drones have gone down, but guess who's up in worker count? Serral is 68 to 60. So that's the frustrating thing, man. You have great Phoenix control. You kill a whole ton of workers, you lose a Phoenix, and you're still down in worker count to your opponent, Serral, because he's playing like a god right now. Phoenix Spore defending against... Wait, Queen Spore defending against Phoenix. Infestation Pit down. Are we going Swarm Host again? Serral? You've kind of been hit or miss with this, man. You've lost 2 games where you went Swarm Host, and you won 2 games where you went Swarm Host. And you didn't go Swarm Host in another one. And now we're in Game 6. Zerglings, again, this is just too much anti-Zergling damage here. Sentry's not that great against Zerglings, but with Adept supporting them, they're fine. Especially if you can throw up some force fields as necessary. Queen actually straying a little bit here and getting picked off. Transfuses. No transfuse, and the Queen goes down. Spire on the way. Hive on the way. A quick Spire this time. We have not seen a quick Spire out of Serral at all in this series. Actually, you know what? Let's move this down here for the rest of this game. Do we want to do that? No, I changed my mind. I don't want to do it. All right, so Phoenix flying in. Spore Crawler, again, getting shots off, but more drones going down. That's the trade we're making here. 22 workers killed. Yeah, this is more along the lines of Game Before Last, where we saw that Phoenix play really start to rip in to that worker count on Serral. That said, 74, 76 to 67 workers. Got additional Immortals coming in here for stats, too. This Immortal count is kind of insane. 6 of them already. And somebody asked, how come Protoss open up Phoenix, force Hydra, and then go Immortal? Immortal's not a good answer to Hydra, but you know what Immortal's a good answer to is Lurker. If you have this many Lurker and or Hydra, and then you don't have the Lurkers, start over. If you have this many Hydralisk and you don't have any Immortals, these guys turn into Lurkers real fast, is what happens. And then suddenly you're dead, because there's no real good answer otherwise to the Lurkers, except for Sky Toss, which I guess you could go for. But by the time you're getting there, Lurkers are going to wreck you. Ling's going after this 4th base, warp in by stats. The Zealots will be able to save it. Zerglings running away to fight another day, at least some of them. Banelings rolling in on those Zealots. Good force fields. Catching a couple of those Banelings before they can get away. Ooh, almost got that Queen too, but setting up, splitting on both sides, saying, hey, stats, come through this little choke. I have a surprise for you. It is a lot of Banelings and stuff. Is that +2 attack? No, it's not done, but the Baneling's just doing stuff anyway. Look at this guy. Rolling. Keep those Banelings rolling. Rolling. Rawhide. Holy Broodlords. Serral's going Broodlords at 10 minutes, you guys. Okay, remember how I said early Spire? Early Spire translates into early Greater Spire. As it turns out. Does Stats know about this? He knows there's a Hive on the way. He knows there's Zerglings attacking his 4th base, but the Zealots should be able to handle this. Actually, the upgrades on the Lings are good. That was closer than I thought it should be, actually. Upgrades are... Oh, okay, only +1 on the Zealots. Banelings rolling in. Another base coming up here for Serral. It's going to be his 5th. Dancing around his stats. He's got Archons. He's got Immortals. Oh, there's the Fleet Beacon. Okay, Fleet Beacon coming up for stats. He knows there's Broodlords now at the 10.5 minute mark. He actually saw them pretty early. considering it was a rush. So good job by him. I'm not sure what he caught a glimpse of to where he's worried about Broodlords, but that's what that fleet beacon is for. He has not made a fleet beacon in the series yet. He would not be making a fleet beacon unless he knew Broodlords were present or a possibility. Hydra's coming in. Archon's defending. That's enough to chase those Hydralisks away. Broodlords being controlled fairly well over this high ground, getting strike damage and brooding attack damage on these Archons. Ooh, Archon, get out of there. Get out of there, friend. Pushing in Banelings. No, don't explode on the Archons. The Archons. No, that's not it. Nice recall. Banelings doing nothing there. Beautiful storm. Beautiful recall there by Stats. And Archon does get picked off by the Broodlords. They're very pleased with themselves as they flap their way home. How do they float? Right? How do they fly? How do Overlords fly? It's gas, right? It's the same thing with Broodlords. They just hover there with gas. I don't know. Yep, Tempest in production, +2 attack coming in for his ground units for Stats. Corruptors on the way. To make into Broodlords, I have to assume Zerg trying to get a bit of a run by here, but nope, there's enough army present. Too much army. He thought about it. He thought about surrounding and killing those guys, but nope. Hey, remember what I said about warping in units over here? Okay, I said the main base, but Zealots going after a lot of these drones. Only 4 go down? And the Warp Prism gets picked off. Thought it was safe. Thought it was safe over here, but it wasn't. That hurts a lot. Losses here still 8,100 for Serral, 5,700 for Stats. Stats is leading that category, but man, Broodlords are hard to deal with. Hard to deal with. Tempests can really destroy them if you have enough. He's got 2. He's making 2 more, but that Broodlord count is a little bit insane. He's sitting at 10, and he's making 2 more. 12 Broodlords at 12 minutes, you guys. This is a build I need to learn. Just play like Serral, I believe is how they will say. All right, where are we at? Got Lings, got Hydras. This is, I mean, Serral's being patient, man. If I had this army, I'd be like, go, Banelings! Attack everything! Hydras, kill what you need to! And nope, look at Serral. Storms come in, he dodges them. And these guys live to fight another day. He's just trading effectively, or he's not trading at all, is what Serral's going in for here. Stats is working on a 5th base here at the 6 o'clock position, +3 melee attack, which again extends to Broodlings, which the Broodlords are capable of. The Phoenix, a little sacrificial here, I think. Trying to free up supply. Stats is at 191 supply now after losing those Phoenix. Making more Archons, getting another Warp Prism, making more High Templar, pushing in. You cannot let the Zerg player alone just because they have Broodlords. If you do that, they'll expand 8 times and you will die. Can he expand 8 times? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, he can't expand 8 times. But 8 total times, absolutely. 8 bases are available on Parasite for sure. All right, this is Stats. Again, fighting for his Blizzcon life right now. Fighting to not go home in 2nd place to a foreigner. The first foreigner to ever win a Blizzcon. With the exception of some, like, Brood War success by some European, I want to say, back in the early 2000s. Anyway, no. It's going to be this right here. Best foreigner experience. Best foreigner performance out of Serral. Got Queens for the transfuse. We got ourselves some Spore Crawlers to deal with anything that flies over this way. I think he was expecting Carrier, but it's really not Carrier at all. It's just Tempest and Immortals and Archons. Is it enough is the question. Diving on in. Are we going to dive in? I don't know. Feedback's on the Queens. Nicely done there by the High Templar. And pulling back is Stats. He doesn't like what he sees there. He doesn't like the Broodlord count. Lings and Hydras and Banelings. Again, this is just a hit squad running down this way. Serral's maxed out, so he can't really make a huge Hydra Ling Bang army, but he can sneak down with what he has. Recognizing a lot of the army supply is tied up in the north here for Stats and pretty far away from home. Tacking on in to what is Serral's 3rd base. Hard to do. Banelings crushing on in the 4th base. 7 probes go down. This is a big attack, and there he forced the recall. Yep, that's all you got to do. Force the recall, go home. And now you can go on the offensive because there's not a Protoss army outside your front door. What a play. What a play out of Serral. Mothership on the way and Carriers on the way here too. I think the Corruptors are going to just try to Caustic Spray down this Nexus. The 4th base is in trouble. Yep, Caustic Spray P. Nope, cannons come up in time. A High Templar is present as well. Enough energy for Storm just now. Oh, High Templar! High Templar! Oh, does not get target fired. That's good news, Bears. Coming up the left side is Stats. Got his Archons. Got his +3 attack on those Archons, which is beautiful stuff. +2 flyer attack on the way. For Serral, not an upgrade you see every day, but if you have this many Broodlords and this many Corruptors, it's going to be a good upgrade for sure. Hydras, Banelings taking separate paths down. Hydras at the 4th base. Banelings trying to get into this 5th base. Are there enough cannons present? Nexus, or Hatchery goes down for Serral. 5 probes go down. Cannons saving most of them. Hydra's going to finish off this Nexus. The Storm Defense. Is the Storm Defense going to be enough? The Hydras are dodging Storm as best they can. Oh, taking on the pylon, warping in additional units. 13 probes have gone down. Let's make it an even. Nope. The Archon is out. The Nexus is in trouble right now. Yes, he killed this hatch. Serral is replacing it. Oh, these larvae are all going to die. Can he save the Nexus? Cloak it. Oh, he cloaks the Nexus and saves it. What a clutch play there by Stats. Cloaks the Nexus. The Hydras can't finish it off. Corruptors here. Thinking about it. Changelings go down to see what we're dealing with. It's a couple carriers. There's an abduct on the mothership, though. Ah, the mothership was not protected well enough, and she goes down. Zealots coming up to try to deal with... I mean, he doesn't know about this base at all. How does he not see this base? Oh, that's hilarious. All right, well, he will. He assumes there will be a base there eventually, and he's just hiding behind these walls, preparing for the day when there's a hatchery for him to deal with. Lings rolling down this left side. They're going to catch a mouthful of Archon Immortal, though. Ow. Not great. Broodlords on the offensive. Not what you want to see if you're a Protoss player. The Broodlords need to be defending at home. Taking some huge Tempest shots, though. Storming on the Broodlings. The Broodlings are raining down innumerably, though. The Broodlord count is way, way too high. Ah, there's an abduct on a Tempest. Down. Probes getting destroyed. That 4th Nexus finally goes down. We're sitting at 67 to 43 workers, and Serral just backs out. He says, hey, look, another base for me. Stats took another base along this right side. Where have I been all this time? Zealots finally recognizing this 6th base of Serral exists. Another attack coming up with Archons and Immortals to kill this 4th base again of Serral. They're gonna get it, but trading a Nexus in exchange here. He's abusing the mobility of the Broodlords. Can Stats force a game 7? He's trying real hard right now. Zerglings, however, panic emergency Zerglings to deal with these Zealots. The army, the ground army for Stats is not really enough to hang out on their own. So Nexus goes down. Nexus goes down. 2 bases down for the price of 1 for Serral. He keeps the 6th base up in this top right-hand corner. 5th base still happily running. I'm going to replant that 4th base. No big deal. And here come the Broodlords. Crikey, mate. Losses, 18,000 for Stats, 14 lost for Serral. Coming in with the Corruptors, just bam, bam. Feedbacks on the Overseers. The ground army getting chomped up right now. Are there enough Corruptors just to take down the Carriers? It sure looks like there may be. Corruptor down, Corruptor. Oh, Carrier down, Carrier down. Corruptors focusing everything down right now. Goodbye. Mothership, is that it? A couple carriers here for Stats. I don't think they have the interceptor counts that they are happy with right now. I really don't think they do. Look who's coming home. Because guess what? Stats is threatening your 4th base again. And does force a cancel on it. This hatchery, man, not a good place to be at all. Stats does have this bottom left-hand base he's happily mining from. It's 41 to 57 worker. Stats has been down in worker count before and been okay. Look at him. He brought all the Broodlords home. That was amazing. What a good play, man. If you have a huge Zerg army at your front door, or honestly a Protoss army at your front door, if you attack them, a lot of the time they'll just go home. A lot of the time they'll be so afraid of what you're doing, even if it's just a handful of Lings or just maybe a small ground army. You can pull everybody home and give yourself some time to rebuild your army a little bit here. Carriers being produced 1 at a time right now. Air upgrades are sitting at +2, which is fantastic. +1 air weapons are done as well. +2 flyer attack and +1 flyer carapace is done for the Zerg player. Serral taking a 7th base along this left side. I think every base has been taken or in the process thereof. Zealots up here at Serral's 6. They really want to kill this hatchery for the first time throughout this entire game. Caustic Spray on Stats. Attempt for another base here. Oh, this bottom left-hand base by Stats is not being protected very well at all. Banelings on top of everything. So again, trading base for base here. Oh, this Nexus is in so much trouble. This ground army might be able to handle these Hydras pretty darn well. The Zerglings should be able to clean out that Nexus, though, especially considering they do have the adrenal glands upgrade, increasing their attack speed exponentially. Maybe not exponentially. Banelings do catch a couple more probes here. 21 probes have gone down. Stats is down to 30 workers. 30 workers right now. The 6th base gets picked off. The 7th base is still coming up. The 4th base is just now popping from Serral. Income-wise is pretty good for Serral. Sitting at 1,500, 600. Stats at 800, 300. The number is definitely favoring the Zerg player here. Changelings getting tossed down. Corruptors want nothing to do with those Archons. Zerglings rolling in and saying, hey, you're trying to rebuild this Nexus, right? Yes, well, not anymore. There's a cancel. Zergling checking to see. He's just everywhere with the Lings right now. Making sure he knows when another base attempts to be thrown up by Stats. His army, this Skytoss army just hanging out in the middle of Nowheresville right now. I guess they can recall as necessary. Zerglings find an Archon. Finish that guy off. Adrenal Glands, you guys, is seriously an amazing upgrade. If you have Lings in the endgame as Zerg, get Adrenal Glands. It will be worth it every single time. I promise you that. +3 missile attack coming in, I guess, mostly for the Hydras in this situation. All the Queens will benefit from it as well. 7th base by Serral. Happy, not really replacing the 6th base in the top right hand because there are Zealots babysitting at 3 kills, 2 kills, 2 kills, 4 kills, and 4 kills on those guys. Zerglings running on in. Nope. Not interested. Not interested in. Can't get the run by. No, an Adept is here. Oh, they say the Adept can't hold us forever. No, but the Skytoss army certainly can. Base for Stats. Changelings trying to see what they're dealing with. Zealots wander in. Oh, Stats too smart for that, man. Everybody dies. Corruptors picking off and abducting a carrier. More Baneling attacks, trying to do stuff. There's really nothing. Oh, they burrowed. They burrowed in. Burrowing some Banelings here. That's fun stuff. And still floating around to Serral. He's being very, very patient here. He's one game away from being the Blizzcon champion of the universe. The first foreigner to win a Blizzcon championship ever. And he's just like, you know what? We'll hang out. We'll get more upgrades. We'll get +2 Flyer Carapace. We'll make sure that Stats is not really allowed any more additional bases. He's mining from this one, and he's mining from this one, and that's it. Meanwhile, a few mining bases available for Serral here. Still doesn't want to get his 6th base back, though. And if you can just abduct here, right? Abduct the Tempest, bam. Abduct the Mothership, bam. Just patiently picking them off. Broodlords are present. They're a little bit exposed, but this ground army getting melted. Oh, the Immortals. Oh, the Immortals and the Archons are all dead right now, and this Nexus is toast. This is one of the final mining bases for Stats. He has to defend it, but it's too late. Broodlings, man. Broodlings with +3 attack are serious, serious things you don't want to have to deal with. Zealots coming into Serral's 5th base. Getting cleaned out by, again, those Adrenal Gland Zerglings. And once again, pulling back. The Broodlords don't have to keep pushing. They kill a Nexus, they pull back. They defend. They kill a Nexus, they pull back. 199 to 151 supply. Chainlings getting cleared out there. Corruptors abducting a couple Tempest. Tempest just getting one volleyed down by this Corruptor ball. There are 30 Corruptors in the sky right now. That is an insane number. 35,000 resources lost for Stats, 25,000 lost for Serral right now. And just chilling, man. Serral's like, you know what? I'll just keep killing this Nexus, and eventually Stats will run out of money. It's a weird strategy for a Zerg to use, but seriously, it's working exceptionally well. You keep scouting in with Changelings. The constant information gathering by Serral has been fantastic all through BlizzCon to get to this point. I think it was a little bit better in the ZVZs, where it's a little bit more important to know what your opponent's tech is. He had Overseers just running hither and thither throughout the entire game. Retaking his 6th base is Serral, abducting another carrier. Another carrier down. Got 10 of them on the ground, though. In the air is Stats. Broodlord's pulling back. This is what the Spore Crawlers are for. Nexus not dead this time around. Zerglings trying to get into the natural. Oh crap, they're in. Sentry down. These Lings with these upgrades are going to take down that cannon. And now there's Zerglings chewing on your stuff, which is really, really annoying. No matter who you are, if there's Zerglings chewing on your stuff, you want to die. Man alive. Zerglings getting inside the main base. There's only 3 of them. But they are tough. They are strong. clearing out creep is Stats, pushing up towards the Zerg center of things. Zerglings killing what they can over here. And the Broodlords, all right, a little bit getting focused down here. That said, Spore Crawlers taking down the Interceptors as best as they can. A couple more Broodlords dying, a couple Corruptors dying there too. But it seems like sustainable losses here for Serral. He's remaxing immediately on Corruptors and on Zerglings. Zerglings trying to chop down stuff. Oh, Zergling's getting into this one mining base for Stats. Okay, technically he has 2 mining bases, but the one that's really important because it's not almost mined out. Another hatchery gonna go down. Stats, man. Another hatchery killed. Neo, the mothership, killed with 1 volley after the abduct. Oh! +3 flyer attack coming on in for Serral. Or +3 armor, rather. Look at that. Insta-volley here. Insta-volley. The Broodlords are getting killed, but the problem is the Corruptor Ball is too big and you can't cloak it anymore. The Storms, we do not care about Storms at all. The Carrier Ball is getting evaporated, and that's it. A good game. Serral is your world champion for BlizzCon 2018, getting his victory. Game number 4. Win number 4 in game number 6 on Parasite, the Ladder Edition. That final engagement was just brutal for Stats. Loses the mothership. The Corruptor Ball is 32. And they have +3 attack, +3 armor is almost done, and 40 more Lings in production. Lings wrecking everything in Stats' final mining base here, and hey, that was it. He tapped out. Can't really blame him for it at all. Stats did his best, man. But Serral's your winner of BlizzCon 2018. The first foreigner victory of a BlizzCon ever in history. The Koreans have held such a stranglehold on this throughout the years. And somehow, some way, Serral has been able to train and work and get to the point where he is able to take down the best Koreans in the world and make it look, I don't want to say easy, but he wasn't fighting that hard here. I mean, he was being patient with it, right? The wins that Stats got felt like they were very close. They could have gone either way in a lot of situations, and winning a series in 6 games instead of 7 indicates there was a certain level of leeway there, right? So Serral, man, he does it. Can he do it again is the question. Can he repeat this in 2019? Can it be another year of Serral? Can he earn the Bonjour title, which is just basically currently the undisputed champion of StarCraft and having just a killer streak in StarCraft events? I don't think it applies after a single year. It can. You can discuss in the comments whether or not it does. But Serral is your victor here today. Just what he was able to do with Swarm Hosts, with Broodlords here. His late game is as good as his mid game. His early game is as much pressure. It's just, where is he weak? Where can you take down Serral? The answer is apparently some immortal Archon Sonic Storm timings. You can catch Serral a little bit off his game if he's got Swarm Host and the Swarm Hosts are on cooldown. Other than that, I don't know. I honestly don't. So good luck to the rest of the world trying to figure this out. But all right, that is going to be it from me. This has been Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. Go ahead and hit that like button. Hit the subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.